Right. Welcome, Richard. Your photo album, I'm sure, is going to give us a fascinating meeting. So perhaps you'd like to take us through it picture by picture.
Yes, I will do. Thanks. Good morning, all. Right. As Roger said, this is just an album of photographs. I bought this item about 40 years ago. At that time, I was interested mainly in the airmails of Sarawak, and as you all know, you go around the stamp fairs and ask if the local societies and ask if they've got any items which may be of interest, and some haven't even heard of Sarawak, but and it's pretty bare what you get. But this one fellow who I knew over a period of time said, you know, I think I picked up something which might be of interest to you. It's a personal photograph album of someone from Sarawak. I'll tell you what, I don't get a lot for it. It was just in a job lot that I bought. I'll send it to you. I'll tell you how much I want, and if it's okay with you, just send me a check and that's it. Well, he sent me this personal photograph album. You're going to have to excuse me 1 second because I've forgotten one thing.
Well, that's that then.
Yes. It's a bit like
the most important thing of the whole display is the original photograph album, which was in my study, and I wanted it here beside me because I printed the photographs off and I'm displaying them in the order in this old album. Now the photographs are dated 1920. I think there's one about 1918. So I was quite keen that the members from Sarawak would be here this morning, because I'm sure that they would find it interesting to see. But if Roger's recording it, they'll be able to download it anyway. The album, the actual photographs are stuck on hard pages in the album, and so they're just of the time. Now they were from it seems someone called Peter, and I think this album, it's at the back, and I haven't actually printed these pictures. They were sort of family things, family photographs, which I didn't think were of any interest to us. It was sort of Uncle Charles raking the lawn and that sort of thing. So I didn't print that, but it did say that it was Dad and Peter at Dedham. Now I didn't know where Dedham was. I didn't know last week, but I've looked it up, and of course Dedham was where John Constable, the artist, came from, Dedham Vale, and his father owned Dedham Mill, and he painted Dedham Mill, as you'll recollect. It's a little village, and it had 2,000 inhabitants in 2011. So I guess in 1920, that sort of era, when Peter went out to Sarawak, it had considerably less. Anyway, we'll move on and see where we're going. First of all, there's a photograph there Can you see the photograph?
Yes,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, you see it. That is Peter's bungalow in Kuching. It's obviously done with quite a good camera. I would think maybe a plate camera, something like that, because the details are pretty good. And if we move on to the next one, that's, well, you see that it's Peter in front of his bungalow in Kuching in 1920. Now, he looks to be quite a young fella, dressed very smartly. I've no idea who he is. I just know he came from Dedham. Oh, his family. Well, yes, he lived there as a child and came from Dedham. So I'm anxious for anyone who can help me to identify Peter and what he did in Sarawak. But I anticipate that we will see as we go through that he probably had some prominent position within the mining industry. So if we move to the next, now this is a view of, it's in Sungei Tengah, the rubber plantation, I believe. And this is views of the river running through the rubber estate. You'll have to say, you know, speak up if you want to dwell on one of these pictures, and we can bring it up, and you know, we can, if you say we can do what we like with that, and they're pretty good photographs. Then we move on to the next one, which is that's part of the gold works at Bow. Now, all of these pictures of the gold workings are from Bow, and when at the beginning of the pandemic, when we started these talks and with the members from Sarawak, an early one, I produced this album and sort of held it up to the camera and said people might be interested. And Patrick was there, you know, from Australia, you know, when he was in Australia, and he comes from Bow, I understand. And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'm very interested because have you ever been to Sarawak?" And I haven't. And he said, "Well, we've got a lake in Bow, which is called the Blue Lake, and it's the flooded workings of the gold mine, as we might have, as many in England, many quarries which are now lakes and etc." And he said it's coloured blue by the, I think, by the either the chemicals used to get the gold out, or dissolve the gold and get it out, or chemicals which have leached from the rock bearing ore, you know, the ore bearing rocks which constitute the mine. But as we go on, you'll see how deep the lake must have been. That is the, as I say, it's the part of the gold workings. And then we skip around a little bit, but that's another part of the gold work showing, it says, Chinese coolies. Now, I'll zoom in a little bit. You can see them there. There's the coolies, or the workers. Someone standing up there, and that is the workings there. Now
Richard,
yeah,
sorry, I just go back for a second.
Yeah.
One of the things that we will come back to, I suspect, it is a ramp and a winch. And
Yes.
I noticed this long structure here. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Clearly is some kind of ramp. But I just wanted to point that out on that picture.
Yes. That along there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see that again later on, but not quite as clearly and obviously, I think.
That's right.
And it appears to have trucks on it, doesn't it? I think.
Sorry?
It's got a
Yes,
truck on it, doesn't it?
Just below,
Yes, there. Those
Yes.
trucks.
and just below it. That's one. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Interestingly, what we're looking at here looks to be spoil coming back out of the works. It's a
Yes.
Yeah. You mean
it's the
from up
material
there,
goes
up
it goes
that
up
way?
to the top. Yeah.
Yeah. As we get, because of the way I've put these, photographed them, taken the photographs from the album as they stuck them in. Now, whether they were stuck in by his family, maybe he sent these photographs to his family in Dedham, and they may well have made up the album and stuck them in, and then stuck family snaps in the last couple of pages, and that sent it back to him, maybe to remind him of home or something like that.
I think you might be right, Richard, because that previous photograph of Peter says photograph of Peter. Now,
Yes.
if it was my photograph album, I would
Yes.
just in front of bungalow or something. I would
Yes,
refer to myself in the third person.
that's right.
Yeah. And also it probably didn't go back because it survived remarkably well. So it probably stayed in the UK.
It did, yes.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit it's well constructed, but it's getting a bit sort of tender nowadays because of the time we've sort of been scanning the pictures, if you see what I mean. It's to open it out, and it's probably done the binding not so good at the back, because it was a pretty good album. Right, let's have a look what we've got next. Right, we've just got a couple of views now.
Oh gosh, Kuching.
Kuching Riverside views. Now here you've got the jail on the left and the fish market on the right. So you've got, that's the jail, and that it presumably is the fish market in 1920, just about 100 years ago. So, which is quite interesting. And the same thing again, but this time it's got the it says native regatta, jail and native regatta. So we've got the jail across there, and presumably that's the native regatta in front of it.
The longboat.
Yeah. So that's
remarkably good quality photo, actually.
well, that's right. That's why I sort of feel that it's that Peter must have been of some consequence or some position in the gold mine at Bow, particularly, in order to get such brilliant photographs. He obviously, whether he was the photographer himself or whether he was just a manager or whatever, obviously we've yet to discover. This is called the floods. This is I can't see so much. It's
Seen after a flood.
yeah. It's yeah. The river after no, it says seen after a flood. That's right. So if we zoom in, as you say, you can see it's pretty good. That is, and they seem to be hosing it out or pumping it out.
Oh, it's not hydraulic washing to get the gold bearing sands out, is it?
I don't know. It says seen after a flood.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. But those are hoses.
They are,
So-
yes. That's a hose there, and that's
And
a
they-
hose there.
Yeah, and they used to use those in some gold mining areas to hose the gravel to flow it out,
Yeah,
so that it could then be sent for processing.
yeah.
And the background, can you zoom in on the background? Are we down a hole?
Yeah, I think so.
That looks like a big chunky rock formation at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that looks like a river in full flood, though.
Yeah. And you've got these
But you've got there's all this pipe work on the right as well.
that's right. Yes. And you've got this this chap there standing on, I think he's on a boat or something, and there's a boat here, just
Yeah.
there.
He might be on a platform. Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yes, possible.
It look a bit
Possible.
messy, really, for actually washing anything out of anything, really. Yeah. It looks like the water's coming in from the river, but a bit difficult to.
Yeah. It's
difficult to
maybe
understand.
that it's maybe they were used for washing of some description,
Mm.
but in this particular instance, they're using the hoses to pump out the water, the excess water, try and get it back in the river. Possibly.
Well, no, because they're not squirting it into the river, are they?
No.
Well,
They appear to be
I
playing
think
it
they're
on
probably causing the flood.
I think you might be right.
or the workings got flooded, and that's behind us here on the left.
Yeah, it looks
And they're pumping the water back out into the floodplain of that river there.
yeah, it's a bit odd.
Yeah, I don't know, but we'll
Yeah, Richard,
yeah,
could the piece, the top half of the picture, can
yeah,
you zoom in on the top half
yeah.
and try to see whether that could be the wall of the quarry, which we'll see later on?
Yeah,
Possible,
it's certainly.
possible, but there's no sort of
No
tracks.
terracing, is there?
No,
No.
no. It's
It looks like a river, doesn't it?
yeah, the
A
river down there.
canyon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pity our friends aren't with us because they know whether that existed.
Mm.
Well, that's right.
River at Bow.
It's the thing is that I think this morning's display on tour is more a question. There's more questions than there is answers.
Yes.
So it's just I feel it'll be a talking point
Mm.
more than anything else. So we move on, and there we've got we've got the view of the bottom of the working. Now it's deep, isn't it? You just look down there. There's the trucks
Yeah.
standing by the side, and it's
That's the incline.
pardon?
That's the incline at
And at the end, yes.
the,
Yeah.
at the end. Yeah.
Yes, and there's a track. So the trucks are on the track.
Yeah. But
Now,
that track connects.
presumably they're pulled up there.
Yeah, that's an incline. Yeah.
Yeah, as we
Because you've
get.
got two inclines, haven't you? They're they were side by side on this old shelf here to the right. Can you
Yeah.
zoom into where that little guy is halfway up the incline or part way up the incline?
That one.
No. Come across. There's somebody in the
road.
middle, right in the middle. At
Yes,
the
on
top.
the railway
That's it.
track.
That's it.
There.
Yeah. I thought we would. Yeah.
I think what we were seeing previously was at the bottom of that hole, the bottom of that quarry, and we were looking up onto the towards the left, and basically
You
the
mean all
place was
this?
just flooded.
Well, this
Yeah.
rock face here is very similar, isn't it?
It is. I think we
Well,
were down
certainly
at the bottom.
the lower
Yeah.
one to the left-hand side.
They were
Goodness
pumping
knows.
the water out of here, down here.
Yeah, but where are they pumping it to? I've got no idea, because they just seem to be moving the water around. But
Do you
Yeah.
think, given that we think the album was made up here, it's possible that the person who wrote the caption misunderstood what the photograph was of? Because the photograph, if you imagine Peter taking the photographs and sending them home to his parents or whatever, he would either have written on the back or in an accompanying letter that this is a picture of.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's possible that the caption is wrong, because it does look, as Malcolm said, as though water, as though they're washing gravel and presumably the gold in the gravel out of the banks. And you could imagine them doing it at the bottom of this picture, where it's clearly fairly flat. If they'd had torrential rain, that would have flooded the bottom almost certainly of the quarry.
Yeah, yeah. And it actually, when we think about it, Roger, we were talking about this the other day when I was talking to you about the display, and looking at some of these, and we were saying, "By golly, fancy digging out that by hand." Well, they may well have used hoses and it washed it out.
Yeah, that was a standard gold mining technique.
Yeah.
By the time you got to this period, where you got gravels, but what we need is to know is to what the geology of the Bow mines were. That might give us a clue.
there will be a report somewhere, for sure.
Well,
oh yes, there is bound to be somewhere.
You look how deep it is. It's you're starting to get some idea of the depth of this mine. And
well, that incline in front of us goes up to another level.
That's right.
Yeah,
but that's not the top.
But not the top. No.
So presumably these were alluvial deposits, and washing them out of gold-bearing sand and gravel.
Don't know. Have to do a bit of research on that. That would certainly be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Gold mine, a la South Africa, when you're sort of putting a shaft down.
Well, it depends on that's interesting. It depends on the geology. Yeah, because the typical gold mining where they stope up is up quartz veins.
Yeah.
But some gold is alluvial gravels.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's at the bottom of the Blue Lake.
Yeah.
I think you're right. There could be cyanide and mercury in there. Another nice.
I don't think it's the sort of thing we'd use for wild swimming.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be cyanide, because that would have been in the works, not in the hole in the ground.
Yeah,
I know, but
it's much more likely that it's one of the minerals.
Yeah.
Associated. Yeah. You see on eBay some.
Yeah. Right, we're moving on now. We're going to come back to the gold mines, but as I say, these are as they were in the album, which again leads us to believe that they're probably stuck in by people in England, his family in England, rather than the people out there, because this one here on the left is the river scene above Bow, and at Tangora. That one there, and this one is another scene with the left branch going to Pusa, we believe, rather than Busa.
Yes.
Pusa.
Yes.
That there, one of the boats going up there, aiming up that. Well, you say the left branch. Yeah, okay, that's the left branch. This one is just a river scene.
Yeah, but it's the same boat, isn't it? By the looks of things.
That one over there, moored. Yeah,
it's moored, is it? It's a very similar looking piece.
I think it could be moored there. There's the side anyway. That's the shore, I think, over there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's going
Do you think
between
it's
those
going?
rocks and the shore. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. As I say, we're all experts on this, so no, or not, as the case may be. But it's just interesting to
God, yes.
see what's there. Okay. So I keep getting right here. We have the it says a clearing and matang in the background there.
It's not a clearing. It isn't. It's clearing, isn't it? They're clearing for rubber
It said in
planting.
the album. It says a clear. I think
yeah.
that is a clearing.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. I think it's sort of.
No, they're clearing the forest, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit like what's happened over the last 100 years, and this is the start of it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, they're clearing an area for whatever.
Yeah.
But probably rubber.
They got
Yeah.
planting. So if they planted already, are those saplings?
No, that's the remains of old trees. Because if you
That's it.
look, there's some that are already down, and there's people
yeah.
working on them.
Yeah, it just looked a bit regular. I just wondered if they're just leaving their big old stuff behind. And
No, probably
you
probably
thought
not.
they would planted these across here like this, these
Yeah.
little saplings.
yeah,
Yeah, but some of these might be old stumps.
yeah,
That have been either burnt
presumably
out
just
or
easier
whatever.
to leave them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leave
And there
them.
is a typical, getting the rubber out of the tree, the cuts and the draining down into the bucket underneath. It's it's at Sungei Tengah, the rubber plantation. And what have we got next? Right, we've got some. We seem to have. Hang on a second. Let me just go back a second, because I'm not at all sure that. Oh yeah, I've turned that over 2 pages. Right. There we are. Now that's a bit more like the gold mine.
Oh wow.
Right. And when you think I'm zooming in on this, you think of the quality of these photographs. You know, what are they doing there? Are they just sort of mining into the side there?
Yeah.
And there's a truck, and they're loading the rock or whatever out of there into the trucks. And there's someone up there, and what are we down here? I don't know whether that is a pipe.
Well, it is a pipe.
Yeah, it's the pipe, isn't it?
Yeah, which brings water down into the mine. If we go up there to the top, and these are
It's got a number of those pipes coming down.
Yeah, there's one there.
Yeah, and another one
Another one
beside it.
there.
Yeah, and that one going straight out and then turning. If you ease across.
Oh yeah, that one coming across there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hell of an operation, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's coming down here.
Of course, the gold mines have been in operation for a long time at this point.
They have.
Yeah.
At least 70 years.
When you think just think how deep that is. There, it's right. There's the rim of the gold mine.
Yeah.
I've just posted a link about the reopening of the gold fields in 2015 into the chat bar, and it's metamorphic area. So yeah, they would be washing deposits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So rather than granitic or what's the other type of sill? Oh no, green sand sills were traps for gold.
Yeah, It's quite an interesting article anyway, and I
Oh,
think
I'll have a look. Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
but it's in the chat anyway. So
All right.
obviously in 2015 they were going, oh, the price of gold is good enough. Let's revisit the workings.
Because that's a steam boiler, isn't it? There's a
Yeah,
steam
there's a
boiler
steam winch. There's a
Yeah.
steam winch there.
for the inclines.
Yeah. And that's the boiler up there.
Yeah.
And that presumably powers the winch, which I'm not sure. Presumably that's the winch at the bottom. I'm not sure.
No, the winch will be at the top, and they're usually a steel cable to connect to the wagons. Would be the standard way to do it
Sorry,
because they're only short inclines, so they don't have rollers and a continuous cable.
have I gone back one?
You've gone back. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one we've seen before.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one we've seen before. Yeah. But see, the inclines are short, unlike the Welsh slate quarries, where the inclines were absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the twin inclines on the Welsh, it would be a continuous cable up and down. Found a drum at the
I
top.
think we've gone back several actually.
Yes, I have, and I'm a bit concerned that I've.
Yeah, you just
What am I
clicked.
doing?
You need to be about 4 to the right.
Yeah, I've got.
Yes, 4 to the right.
Unfortunately, it's frozen up. My.
Oh,
Yeah.
technology. Oh,
Don't you just love it?
But
don't do that.
there's Roger's there with one he made earlier. In case something happened like this. And
You've tried the arrows, have you? Right and left?
yes, I have.
Ah,
It's just.
Oh, wow.
Yes. You'll have to excuse me if I swear,
Yes, right.
Turn the speaker off.
No, we're interested.
Unless I've.
Oop.
Oh.
Ah,
I've left. No,
you've
what have I
stopped
done?
sharing the screen.
No, I've stopped sharing.
Yeah.
Right. I've left the.
There you
Have we lost him completely?
Yeah.
He's left the building.
Ah,
If he's going to come back, when he comes back, I'll let him in again.
oh, that's
Anyway, when he's finished with it, can I have my album back, please?
Thank you, Peter. Technology, always time to go and put a kettle on while we're waiting.
Ah, he was warning me that he was having he was having a battery problem. I'm wondering whether he's switching over to his iPad,
Oh gosh.
which also had the pictures on.
All right. Yeah.
Talk quietly amongst yourselves.
That's the trouble. That's the trouble with old age. We all have battery problems, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Mine, yes. Now mine's a relatively new laptop. Oh, what's this? Oh God, the whole thing has died. Well, mine has. Mine's suddenly gone post-attended.
All I can see is you, Malcolm.
You're fine. We're hearing you loud and clear, Malcolm. So don't say anything you regret.
I don't know. Yours is working very well, Malcolm, because there's this strange bloke on the screen.
Well, all I've got is the Zoom front page.
You're still connected to Zoom. I mean, you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
What the
And
hell
see
is
you.
going on? Oh, let's rejoin the meeting. Oh no, that's available. Crap.
Fancy a game of chess, Tom?
Post attendee Zoom. It's what I've got.
I haven't ended the meeting. I mean, the meeting's still running.
No, I know. I'm just oh no, it's an extraneous. When I minimised it, it disappeared.
Ah,
God only knows. So very strange. There we go. Right. Yeah. Back to Life the Universe.
all we thought of is Richard.
Is our speaker. Wow.
Just yes,
Oh,
but they're fascinating pictures.
gosh, aren't they just?
Hmm.
Here we are. He's back. He switched to his iPad,
Ah.
so he's run out of juice.
Question, there were gold mines at Biddy, weren't there, in the 19th century?
Yeah, there was
The
also
connection
arsenic or cyanide or something at Biddy.
Oh, they were cyanide, right, or arsenic or something, yes. Yeah,
There
so
was
they
something
were,
unpleasant.
it
Oh,
wasn't
they
gold.
would have used cyanide to extract the gold.
Yeah, it was standard practice, wasn't it?
Yeah,
At
yeah.
the time. Yeah.
So
Sorry,
there
you
was a-
used cyanide to extract the gold.
Yeah,
Yes,
it dissolves the
yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
You ever watch
But-
Australian gold hunters on Quest or something? You'll find
Life
out all
is
about
a bit
it.
short, Charles.
Sorry?
Life is a bit short.
No, it's,
I'm sorry, chaps. I've lost the thing on my laptop here. But have you got yours up and running, Roger?
I'll see if I can.
That link that I sent you all is actually very interesting because it's quite a big area by the looks of it. And they talk about Jungan Pit. So that may be the pit that we're looking at as well.
Right.
Jungan Hill. was going-
Sorry, I wasn't with you for that, Charles. Have you sent a link to an article, have you, in about Bow?
Yeah, in chat. It should still be there.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, I'm just trying to work out how to do something with it.
oh, good.
Double click on the blue bit.
Yeah, but then it says copy link, but where do you put it?
Oh, well, just paste it into your browser.
Oh, right. Okay.
Aren't you glad, everybody, that this is being recorded so we can watch it again later?
Right. I'm now sharing my screen,
Yep.
and sorry, I'm going the wrong way, I think.
Yeah.
What
There
I
you go.
Ooh, yes, that we haven't seen that one.
we've
No.
seen that one.
Oh,
See,
you
no,
must have missed one. Yes, we've seen that one, but not that one.
no.
It says the bottom of the pit.
That's the bottom of the
working.
working. It says that's the bottom of the working. Didn't we not see that? No.
No, I think you must have skipped it, or the system
No,
skipped it.
that's the next one. That's the next one to
All right.
where it all froze up for me. We were
Right.
looking at the steam
That one.
winch. Yeah, that one's the one we were looking at
Yeah.
in detail. And I zoomed in on all of that, and we looked at the steam winch at the top, at the winch house, and the steam generator, and the track to pull it up. And we looked at that, and then I think we sort of looked at that in detail, and then I was trying to move on to the next one, which is that
right.
one, right? And that is entitled, as you can see, the bottom of the workings. Now, my picture is bigger than that in the album, so can
Yes,
you?
I'm sorry, I was only able to upload
Yeah.
these quickly, just
Yeah,
in
okay.
case what's happened has happened.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, I don't understand why it's happened, but I can see. Yes, I can see from this photograph that it's just a picture of that sort of those two buildings down at the bottom there in the middle of the screen, and you've got the track running along the workings. It's obviously another view from the one we've just seen previously. It's sort of I think a bit to the right. I think as we go round, if you look at this picture here, and if you go in front of the buildings, the track's running in front of the buildings, and it comes to the one we were just looking at earlier, which is the part where the steam winch is and pulling it up. I believe so, because
yeah,
that looks good to me. Okay. If you move on to the next one, it's Sungei, and it's the rubber plantation. And on the left, you've got a group of Javanese coolies, and then it just says coolies receiving pay. So they're just queuing up there to get paid. I'm sorry I can't zoom in on these. It's obviously much more interesting to see it in detail, in more detail anyway. And if you move on to the next one, Roger. No, wrong way.
That's
That way. Right. Now, the same, right? Again, you've got it. I'm pointing at it with my finger. You can't see me.
no, you're right.
And the one on the left, it shows the in the rubber plantation, the queue waiting for their pay. Oh, that's better. If you, on the left, if you move that a little bit to the right, Roger,
Yeah.
can you remove you'll see them on the right, on the left of the left-hand picture by that little white house. They're queuing up there, and then of course you've got the Sedang Regatta in 1918 on the right-hand picture.
So that's out of kilter with the rest of the.
Yeah, he must have sent home, you see, a series of photographs, and he wrote on the back, as we presumed earlier. He's written on the back what they are, and the people, his family, putting them in to this album, which is very good. It's a good job. A good job they did. Really, we can just about to look at that. And there's he must have been out there obviously in 1918. So and 1918 and 1920. So then if you move on to the next one, we're now in the gold mine. We're down the gold mine again. Right. There we are. If that's just one of the levels, it's that's pretty clear. That one is. You can see the pretty clear.
Gosh.
It must have been pretty dangerous when you look at the loose, how steep the sides are, and the loose rock at the end.
Yes.
If a load of that came tumbling down.
Yeah.
Perhaps they didn't count the people. Oh dear, it's terrible. Really. And if you move on to the next one, you've got the main incline. What is it said as to be the main incline?
Oh, you see the lower one.
Yeah.
We've seen a picture from the other
Water
direction. Because that's the one where obviously they're slowly eroding underneath what was an old tramway, and they haven't bothered to take it up. But that wall underneath the tramway looks as if it's being slowly washed out,
Yes.
and you've got water in the bottom.
And up above, if you look at the top, there's the pump house. You can see the chimney. You know, up above, if you right in the bottom, you go right on the right-hand edge of the photograph, on the level above.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you can see the chimney of the winch, the steam winch. I think, well, it's or another one.
Or
I mean,
another one.
Yes, because there's a chimney on the end. I'm sorry I haven't got these on my computer to blow up, and you'd see them more easily.
If that's correct, then the main incline is that incline to the left.
That one,
left.
yeah, top left-hand corner.
So there might well have been more than one engine.
Yes. Yeah, maybe so.
It goes back to that previous one.
It's yeah,
it's kind of difficult to slot them all together, isn't it?
yeah. You'd have to go. I think back another one. If you go back
another one.
yeah. Right, that's there, yeah. Then back another one. Right, and another one. There, yeah. Right, there's this. That's the steam winch I thought we might be looking at. In the left-hand edge at the top. And because we looked at that and zoomed in, and you could see that was the steam winch there for that level anyway.
I have a feeling this hole is a lot bigger and longer than
yes
any of the pictures really show.
Yes.
Gosh.
Thinking about it, it looks as though there were several of these inclines. And each of them, I mean, the distances are so big that each of them would have needed a steam engine to power a winch.
Yeah.
To haul it up. The distances are too big either for pipes with steam in or any form of transmission shaft from one end to the other. So there would have been certainly several of these winches and so on. And
yes,
to power them.
I mean, when we go to where we were, which means going forward now a few.
Beg your pardon.
Right. Oh. Yeah. The back one. Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah. No, back. Yeah, that one. It looks very shallow, doesn't it?
Well, it looks that. Yeah, it looks as though there's only a terrace in front of us and one level to the summit.
Yes. Whereas looking at the ones we've seen earlier, it looks very deep with about 3 levels.
Yeah, but if that eroding tramway is anything to go by, then the main hole is behind us.
Yes. Yes.
I think the chap is on the terrace, halfway up, but with his back to most of the equipment that we've seen in the other pictures, the other inclines and steep pitches and so on.
This is the last incline out of the pit, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is a double incline to a terrace, which obviously goes off to the left.
Yes.
Behind us. Yeah.
This is the last photograph of the gold mines. So I mean, as I say, I did them as they are in the album, so that I could flip through the album as I did it, and I could see, you know, I can come to exactly the photographs we got here. The proper way to do it would be to take all the gold mine photographs and put them all together, so that one could look at them one after the other and come back to them, etc.
I suppose if you looked at the Blue Lake on maybe Google Earth and looked at the shape of it now, that might help to give you an idea of sort of like the size and the topography of the actual mine as it was then.
Yeah.
So presumably all this stuff is filled up with water at the moment.
Well, I assume so, and I can only know from what Patrick said. I mean, Patrick said to me at that time, you know, and I said I hadn't been out there, and he said, well, if you ever come, you know, it'd be my pleasure to take you and show you the bow and the Blue Lake that's there.
Yeah.
So the other thing is that, was there only one gold mine at Bow? You know, I mean, obviously one of them is flooded, and I've assumed that it is this one, because this is such a massive working, really.
You might have a point, actually.
I think if you look at the map,
there's at least one share certificate. Is there not more than one Bow share company?
Could well be, yeah. Could well be.
Damn, this is where we could do with Kuching, because I think they've got some share certificates from more than one gold mine.
Yes.
I'm wrong there, but
I think you're right. I think there's 2, possibly 3.
because they're all Chinese owned, weren't they?
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
But if there were, these photographs show you the sort of magnitude that you're talking about of the gold mines, of a gold mine at Bow, and maybe one of a number of gold mines at Bow.
Yeah,
there were a number of gold mines. If you look at the existing map at the moment of the area, there's many lakes around there, not just the blue one, but many lakes. So there were many mines in Bow.
Yeah.
Right.
And at the time in 1920s, it was run by, according to Wikipedia anyway, it was run by the Borneo company. And they gradually bought out the Chinese syndicates there. And it actually closed in 1921. So I'm not entirely sure these are 1920s photos.
Oh, no, they might well be, aren't they? Because it's bits of it are beginning to look rather decrepit.
Yeah.
So that could indeed be the case, that this is sort of
The end.
the end. So he might have visited it because it was closing down.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was involved with the rubber plantations rather than the mines.
Yep, I think you're right there, Malcolm.
Possible.
If you think about it, the number of people working is very small in looking at the number in the picture.
Yeah.
If you think of a slate mine or any other mine that I've ever seen pictures of, there are far more people. I mean, you've got a scene here. This is supposedly a working mine, presumably not on a bank holiday. And I'm not sure I can see a figure.
You're right.
Maybe 1 or 2, but almost none.
Yeah.
Richard, I think there are just a few more other photographs on there after this one.
Yeah.
Can we just have a look at those?
Yes. Yeah. They're just.
Sorry.
Right. No. Right. You've got the regatta entitled the Regatta 1920 on the left, and Dayaks from Simungang in the boats on the right, and they were just dropped in at the end at the end of the album. Not such good photographs as the ones of the mine. That's why, although when talking to Roger, he was saying that he felt that these were really good quality photographs, which you wouldn't expect from a simple camera. They were, I'd probably taken from quite a distance, really.
You've got a great depth of field, haven't you, there?
Yeah.
Fairly in focus. Yeah.
You know, so.
Oh, do we know? Oh, no. Yes. Oh, no. Ignore me.
Borneo company owned the Biddy mine, didn't it? In the 19th century.
Yeah.
Well, they had I think they had their tentacles in a hell of a lot of stuff going on in that part of the world.
Yeah. Can you move that over to the right, Roger? No, not the next photograph. Move this.
These are fixed. I can't move.
Okay, because on the left of the left hand, the boat, you can see there are people on the boat to the left, and it comes more into focus on the left there. On this big stanchion across the photograph there, the boat on the left hand picture with the thing with the hole in at the end. What do you think that is?
Well, he's clearly on a much bigger boat, isn't he? Because the guys below are alongside.
That's
right.
right.
On a jetty. Might be on a jetty, actually.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be, because that looks like quite a part of a big structure, doesn't it?
That's when you look down, you look like you're at the side of the river.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a jetty. Don't know what that is though.
Anyway, that's by the by. And then there's the picture of the dikes, and then we've only got these the Sedong regatta of 1918
again, because you've
Yeah.
got one earlier, hadn't you?
That's right.
Taken from afar. Yes.
Taken from afar. Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
And that is the actually
Oh, right.
when I look at this, I wonder on the. It's all right. I'm looking at the album now, and the last photographs, which have got some of these family photographs in, and there were a few odd photographs. There was again one of Peter in his uniform, or his whites anyway, his whites by the bungalow, and there's another photograph of the bow workings, but it's in the album. It's what 2.5 by 4, you know, rather than the big ones 7 by 8 or whatever they were when we were talking at those. So I didn't print that because I didn't think I'd get. I think it might be one that I've seen, and there's one of the SS 4S's company boats at the wharf in Kuching, but they're small photographs, which obviously one could take them and scan them and put them and add them to this collection that I've got here of.
I think worth doing because they're pretty high quality. Actually, I think they'd actually blow up really rather well.
Hang on,
rather fascinating structure in the bottom of that hole.
One of them is the one that Roger's just put on the screen.
Yeah.
The bow working. You've got the SSS one as well, haven't you, Roger? I did print that.
No, I don't think so.
Haven't you?
Not
another one?
No, that's the end.
Okay, right. So I did print that one. That's about the about the size of it now, the full size of it in the album, but again, it might blow up, mightn't it?
I think it will. And that's a hell of a deep hole.
Richard,
Yeah.
I presume you scanned these. What DPI did you use?
I have not a clue.
Right. Two things. One, the only problem with scanning photographs is, of course, the pattern of the silver crystals and the square dot and the squares of the pixels sometimes don't aid each other. And what I've found is actually that if you can photograph them using your iPad or something similar,
yeah,
you can blow them up much, much, much bigger than you can for a scan. It's a bit of a pain in the arse because you've got to get the two levels perfectly aligned, if you see what I mean. So flat to flat.
Yeah.
But I've found with trying to enlarge pictures of stamps where you're looking at small detail, I can get much, much better results by photographing it on my iPad first and then downloading that image and then playing with that image.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So it's worth having a play, I think.
Yeah.
Because some of these are really, really good. And I do suspect that if we had if you had all of them printed out, you could shuffle them around and you could probably begin to spot where buildings are the same.
Yes.
And where bits of the detail match together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they are a fantastic archive.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah. And the only other one was there was a picture of the works at the top of the hill, as it were.
Yeah.
Does that accord with any of the, or do we know, with any of the Harbui Hong postcards of the Bao works? I mean, I haven't got any of those because they go for quite significant money, but I'm sure other members might have.
Yeah. Martin couldn't come today. He's playing golf. He said it was an important engagement.
Oh, yes, yes.
And he apologized for that.
Oh, dear. But yes,
Yeah.
I mean, it might be worth trying to get hold of some scans of the of Harbui Hong's pictures to see if
If you go, Roger, if you go right back to the beginning again, to the go forward again. That's the workings at the top, isn't it? That's the sorry, that's the I would think that must be
that's the processing plant.
Part of the gold.
Well, so I'd be intrigued to see whether some of that accords with some of the Harbui Hong views.
That's obviously in production, isn't it? Still, that's obviously still in production.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, do you think we've made a false assumption? Well, we started to make a false assumption that he worked at the gold works, whereas he actually worked at the rubber plantation.
Yeah, I think so.
Took these photographs. Therefore, we need to be careful about assuming that he has photographed only one gold works. The reason I say that is he's got 4 very prominent similar chimneys.
Yes.
Now, I don't think in any of the photographs that we had down the line of the chasm of the mine, I don't think I saw 4 chimneys in 2 pairs on the skyline.
No, I don't think I think you're right. I think you're right.
So it's possible that he's actually gone to several different gold works and taken photographs. This might also explain why most of the ones we looked at of that very deep one, it does look in retrospect as though it was on the verge of being abandoned.
Mm.
Whereas this one, as John's just pointed out, it's clear that the winches are running because they've obviously got steam up in the boilers to run the winches or the crushing equipment or whatever that is they're using that's powered by steam. I mean, there seems to be a winch or a shaft in the foreground here in front of the right-hand pair of chimneys.
Yes.
There seems to be some sort of anyway.
Yeah.
It may be he visited several of these and took photographs to illustrate. It's also interesting. We can see hills very clearly there, and it's clear
Yes.
the mines are not. This set of mine buildings are not at the top of the hills. This looks like a sort of plateau area, but there's hills significantly higher than the site of the buildings here.
Yeah. If you move to the next photograph, Roger. Yeah. Right. It's a bit. It's got the light in a bit and into the photograph, but that's. I think that looks as if. Let me look. Above the buildings on the left-hand side, there are two chimneys. You can't. Your photograph is a bit farther across, and you can't move it. You'd have to move the photograph that you've got to the right a bit, and because my photograph shows a little bit more of this shed on the left in the foreground.
Right.
There, and the two chimneys above.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the palm trees to the
They're not-
right.
I hate to say it, but they don't look like chimneys. They're too narrow.
Yep. And too tall.
Yeah.
But they're not telegraph poles.
God knows what they are. Yeah.
They're tall.
Could they be related to the ramp? I think the ramp is further away. I don't think the top of the ramp is here.
No, it runs across those two.
Top of the ramp looks as though it might be more up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Difficult.
I'm going to have to go in a couple of minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you want to carry on, I can make Malcolm the host, and then it will carry on recording until Malcolm shuts it down. But I need to leave.
Well, I suggest we have a pause. I think it'd be jolly useful, perhaps at one meeting, to actually have a look at these in more detail.
Yes.
When we can enlarge them and look at them more carefully, and maybe do a bit more work on the number of mines at Bow.
Yeah. Just one thing, Malcolm, you were talking about Hobway Hon postcards, etc., photos. I don't think he took any in Bow. The only one he did was the rubber plant at Garbett.
I do agree, actually. I just looked through all my Harbury.
You're right. It was Garbett, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Harbury Hon photos. There's nothing of Bow. I have
Right.
a copy of the Go-Built one. I don't have the original, unfortunately.
Well,
yeah, I've got one, but it's just the rubber plant.
Yeah.
I just thought that this display would be of a few photographs, but it's given rise to a considerable discussion, and I hope you found it interesting anyway.
Yeah, very good.
Brilliant,
Right.
Richard. Well
Very,
done.
very good, Richard. Thank you for that.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the best.
Okay.
Okay.
Cheers then, chaps.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks
Bye.
very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Should. I should just.
I was just going to come and say to you.